Hello and welcome to No Such Thing as a Bad Movie podcast. I'm April Atmansky and I'm here today with
Justin DeClue
and Colin Cunningham.
Or should I say Chris Kringle?
Well, if you're listening to this before Christmas, continue. If it's after, turn it off, throw whatever device into a water.
That
Stop.
How many years
Into
of bad
the
luck is
snow.
that? It's like
100.
Oh no.
You cannot listen to a Christmas podcast after Christmas. It's not fair.
Yeah, it's like white after Labor Day. And I have looked online and been like, why can't people wear white after Labor Day? How long can they not wear white after Labor Day?
Wait, but if you listen to it after Christmas, are you just listening to it before the next Christmas?
Yeah, so you're a
guess so.
sicko.
Yeah.
So to close out the holiday season, we watched two movies this episode. one bad, but also good. I would say.
Which one is that?
Wait, which one is that? I am in suspense.
So the first movie we watched was the bad movie. It's a really, really weird movie that came out, I believe, last year.
It was 2017.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Just try to think. When was it that Ron Perlman yelled at the world for making fun of his movie?
But how many times has he yelled at the world?
Him and Alex Proyas got together. And remember when that happened? Gods of Egypt? Yes, Alex Proyas was very angry about that. Ooh, we should do that. That'd be a good episode.
He's actually of Egyptian descent.
Oh, Alex Proyas is?
Yeah.
I did not, but he cast all white people in his movie.
I don't know.
Man, that movie sucked.
He would
No, it rocks!
Well, we have to watch it on the for the podcast.
I think we talked about it a bit on the Gerard Butler Patreon, but not like a full review.
No. I mean, next up that we have to do is our Vin Diesel double bill, Chronicles of Riddick and Find Me Guilty. But that's not what we're doing today.
No.
Because today we're doing Pottersville.
Yeah, so
the
this is
evil version from It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah, so that's a weird thing. It's like obviously like a play on that, but or like a nod to, but why?
Well, it's a nod to it because I guess in the movie, like the factory closed down, so everyone's poor. And that's like the fractured future that Jimmy Stewart imagines.
Basically, at the end of It's a Wonderful Life, all of the good stuff that Jimmy Stewart saw, it's like an occurrence at Owl Creek Bridge. Like he died, and it's like in the sliver of time before his, or Jacob's Ladder. Ooh, sorry, spoiler for people who haven't seen that movie.
Oh, I just got back from the Vietnam War. Oh, God, some crazy kid was shaking head over there.
And so this is about everyone's favorite, huggable, lovable man, Michael Shannon.
Yes, noted serial killer Michael Shannon.
I don't think I've ever seen Michael Shannon in a comedy.
Knives Out.
Well, this came out in 2017, and I watched it in or maybe I watched it last year. I don't know.
I think we watched it last year. I think.
Yeah.
Are you watching it now? I'm experiencing all time
Knives
at once.
Out doesn't count because most people haven't seen it. But before this, like,
people.
what has he done? Like, a scary villain in Shape of Water.
Everything. Well, he's General Zod in Superman. He's on Boardwalk Empire.
He
as
was
a
really good
psychopath.
in Nocturnal Animals. He wasn't a villain, but he's like a scary cop.
That's a terrible movie.
Oh, you didn't like it?
No, I don't like Nocturnal Animals.
Well, it's a
and
hard
I don't
watch.
like that guy's fashion either. I don't remember what his name is.
Tom Ford.
Tom Ford, yeah.
He was in something called, was it Take Shelter?
Take Shelter is very good.
Yeah, it's really
Shotgun
good.
Stories was one of his earlier films.
Yeah.
That was.
And he was in the Joan Jett in the Runaways movie.
Oh, was he? I didn't see that.
He was
I
their
saw
manager.
it, but I completely
He appears
forgot.
very briefly in what is it? That comedy with Paul Rudd and Amy Poehler, and it's directed by David Wayne. It's like
They came together.
Who
is he in that?
He just appears very briefly as a joke at the end. So
Is he a serial killer?
Yeah, he is. He has a big, like samurai sword, and he's chasing after them.
That movie's really funny.
Good.
I have to say, this guy, like Michael Shannon, I love him. Like, he's very terrific.
Oh wait, he played Elvis in that movie with Kevin Spacey, where Elvis meets Nixon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I've actually
heard
never
of
seen
it.
it. All I
That's
remember from that
right.
is that there were photos of Michael Shannon with a flip phone. And that movie came out like a few years ago. And it's like, Michael Shannon has a flip phone? No, that seems to line up.
Probably. I find him terrifying.
Yeah,
like,
he's
terrifying.
very intense.
He's so intense, and he's just got one of those faces that you never know what's going on behind his eyes, and any moment he's just going to flip and murder you.
So naturally, you should cast him as the kind-hearted owner of the general store who the whole town loves, and he's just put upon, and he just wants to make everybody happy.
Nobody is paying for anything.
Yeah.
Like, they're just like, can you put it on my tab? And he's like, oh, yeah, sure. Like, when the movie starts, you're like, is he villainous in some way?
Because he's
Like,
the
you're waiting
only
for
one in town that's making money.
Yeah,
he's
he's
people
like,
need groceries.
You know, he shows up to his general store and then he shovels the sidewalk outside, and then he looks at, you know, the neighboring stores and then shovels their sidewalk as well. So you're like,
He is like the kindest man in town.
kind-hearted man.
Yeah, it's the kind-hearted ones you don't expect.
But he's so scary, even in this
Even
movie.
in this movie,
He's terrifying.
He's like playing it like so low key.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna even before we get into the plot of this movie, my favorite part is like the director decides to shoot it like Steven Soderbergh for some reason, where it's all like locked down, really green, and all wide angle lenses right up in the actors' faces.
I mean, it's almost like Terry Gilliam-esque in some shots. Like
I know
the
we say
wide
that a
angles
lot.
are insane, and all these like it's framed where the people are in the middle of the shot. Like it's odd.
Wes Anderson, he's like, oh, that's how you make comedic movies, right? It's like harsh and ugly, but also very off-putting in its framing.
The tone is very, very weird, and it's just one of those movies where, you know, if you could easily see it on the Hallmark Channel or something like that, but because of the cast,
it's too weird to be on the Hallmark Channel.
It's just the cast just makes it something else. And
So
it's such an oddity.
We should get into what the actual plot of the movie is, which is Michael Shannon, after a long day working at the grocery store that he owns, with always a bridesmaid, never a bride, Judy Greer.
Poor Judy Greer.
That's right.
AKA the best friend / I guess divorced mom in every movie.
She deserves better.
Yeah, she does.
She's a great actress.
She's really good.
Michael Shannon gets some meat from Ian McShane, the local hunter in the city.
He sells them like elk meat or something, elk steaks.
And then he decides
to go home a little early.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, never do that in a movie, because what does he find? His wife with another man.
His wife, Christina Hendricks from Mad Men.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Someone who, her post-Mad Men career, oof.
Yeah, not so good. She was in Drive, which was during Mad Men.
Very briefly, but
And with Ron Perlman. But there's a twist. What is it, April?
Well, it's that they're not actually having sex. They're just dressing up like animals and quote unquote rubbing each other. But like Michael
Quote,
Shannon
unquote.
is like, you're cheating on me. You're clearly having sex. This is about sex. And they're like, no, we promise it's not. And then Christina Hendricks is like, Maynard, I'm bored. By the way, this guy's named Maynard. I have never met a nice person named Maynard.
Maynard Granger.
Okay.
You have never met a nice person?
I've never met you.
So you've
Maynard
met
is a
many
villain.
Maynards.
The only Maynard I know is the guy, the lead singer of Tool.
Yeah, and you know what he is? A tool.
So of the dozens of
Tool
Maynards,
is a scary band. You guys know that music,
Tool,
right?
Tool
Do
is
you guys
scary.
know Tool?
I know what Tool is.
Tool.
Are you confusing them with like Slipknot, where you're like, they wear
No,
masks
Tool,
and they're
Tool
crazy?
is a little more, alternative.
Yeah,
but,
Tool had the kind of scary videos and stuff.
Yeah,
One
yeah.
directed by Todd McFarlane.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wait,
Not
with a freak on a
surprised.
leach, where it's like the bullet going through stuff.
I think that's
That's
the one.
Korn. That's not Tool.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Come on, you guys.
We got confused. We're very old men.
But anyway, so he's angry.
Oh, we're getting back into April's love of new metal.
Oh no! I can't help it. So Maynard freaks out, and then
Well,
he
she
leaves.
explains that they're furries.
Yeah,
they're
but
furries.
she's like, look, I need excitement in life. You're not cutting it. Like I need more.
So we should point out that this movie, lots of furry content in it, and the furries are the butt of the joke.
Always.
And if you don't know what a furry is, look it up online.
Whoa! Not at work though.
But probably not.
It's a sexual thing.
Exactly, and it opens up with this, so it's like you think that's kind of what the movie is about, and it kind of is.
It's
but
the
about other
instigating factor, I think.
Yeah.
It's
And we didn't even mention that the other man in this situation is Ron Perlman
He
at
almost-
his sweatiest.
Yeah. Oh God. He's dressed as a wolf, and he takes the wolf mask off. Mm-hmm. For the rest of the scene, sweat is dripping off of his face.
It looks like he's about to die.
It's really gross. And
You're like, I can condone a furriness, but not sweaty Ron Perlman's.
Well, this is the funny thing. So in the opening credits, you note that Michael Shannon is listed as an executive producer,
which is insane.
Which
You mean and Ron Perlman?
No, Ron Perlman's company, his production company, made the movie or produced the movie or something like that.
So still Ron Perlman.
Yeah, but his name I don't think is
anywhere on the film.
But Michael
He went
Shannon,
uncredited.
Michael Shannon personally is listed.
Personally,
That is insane because it's like, was Michael Shannon like, I must star in this
Is it like
movie?
a Ponzi scheme of some kind?
I don't know if it's they all know one another.
It looks like someone is holding a gun to Michael Shannon throughout the film to act in this movie.
I don't understand it, or he's just like, I'm getting typecast as this psychopath crazy guy.
Yeah, I'm a really nice guy. Why don't people think I'm a nice guy?
I wrote this script, Pottersville.
So anyway, we need to get to what the movie is really about, which is Bigfoot.
Yeah, so people listening that don't know what Pottersville are like, wait, what?
It's actually a Bigfoot movie.
So Michael Shannon does what anybody who's having relationship problems do, is he gets really drunk, goes to his general store, and doesn't just like find a Bigfoot costume, he like builds a Bigfoot costume.
It's kind of like a hunter's camouflage outfit with a gorilla mask.
I don't know why you need a gorilla mask to go hunting.
I mean, his store just Halloween stuff in the back.
That's right.
And then he wanders around town, and he wakes up from his drunken stupor the next day, and instantly, like, the town is just
a buzz.
A buzz with Bigfoot sightings.
Yeah, it's like it's on the news and everybody's around. Like,
is this all that it takes? Like one guy and like people are like, Bigfoot's real.
Maybe nothing's happening in the town.
Who knew that people were so Bigfoot crazy? Like,
me.
I guess you didn't grow up in a small town, Toronto. But
are you
like,
gonna tell some Oshawa stories?
No, but like,
Bigfoot
I'm just
sightings?
wondering, like, would this happen in my hometown?
No, because they look at the video and they're like, that's obviously not a Bigfoot.
Well, it's not even video. Nobody has video. It's all just like secondhand. I saw him in my backyard.
There was maybe some pictures or something.
And like, he's right out there too. Yeah. It's not like he did something that like a bunch of people saw. Like multiple people saw him just wandering around.
Yeah, and he's like passed out in their lawn. He's like he's like drinking from one guy's fountain.
It goes on for like 30 minutes, like all the stuff that he did.
The Bigfoot shenanigans.
Just in case like the audience is like, wait, was Michael Shannon Bigfoot? I don't understand.
He could probably just walk around without the outfit.
Yeah, they're like, it's Bigfoot.
Oh, Jesus. Some serial killer Frankenstein.
Christina Hendricks is happy because
she wants to fuck Bigfoot.
Into that kind of thing, which is again like kind of like they're saying like furries are they want to fuck
sex with animals, which is not the case. I hear
it's very weird. It turns around.
But then like Michael Shannon's like, well, I can't tell anyone because everyone's so happy.
Well, he goes to the cops right away, and it's Ron Perlman.
He's the sheriff.
And
his
still
daughter.
Sweaty.
His daughter actually is the deputy.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
I
the woman who keeps repeating what he's saying.
Like in real life, it's his daughter. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And so, the town is Bigfoot crazy, and then...
but, everybody, they're making T-shirts, and, they're finally, like, getting on the map, all the, like, local news stations and stuff like that. And then
just from people talking about Bigfoot.
Yep.
And then the real star of the movie shows up, Thomas Lennon, the man who will never turn anything down.
Yeah, he really won't. And I actually think he's a good actor, but he's in a lot of bad movies.
Yes.
This one included.
I mean, he wrote a lot of bad movies. He wrote a book about it. Yeah, he wrote like Night at the Museum, 1 and 2.
Did he
really?
Yeah, he did.
I heard that.
Oh my God.
And he was in that Odd Couple TV show with Matthew Perry.
Oh, he's also in
watched
Monster Trucks. Like, if there's a bad studio comedy, actually, people like Monster Trucks. I haven't seen it. Thomas Lennon is not far behind.
That's so weird.
Either having written it or starring in it.
And he was also in The Dark Knight Rises.
That's right. Well, The Dark Knight Rises, and The Dark Knight as well, have like insane cast because I see Christopher Nolan just like Eric Roberts is in Batman Begins.
Yeah, that's
Michael J. White has a big role in Dark Knight. I think it's just like
those small cameos.
Yeah, Christopher Nolan likes casting like weird people in these movies. Unless Christopher Nolan's like, I like to cast actors nobody knows, and by that he means like I don't know who they are, and they just end up being like
I don't know who this Eric Roberts person is.
But didn't you say that Tom Lennon was in 1510 to Paris?
Yes, he is.
1517.
Well, okay, so 1517 to Paris starts with 30 minutes that every actor is played by a comedian. So Thomas Lennon is in there, Judy Greer is in there, Jenna Fisher giving the worst performance I've ever seen. Who's the guy? It's Tony Kail that's also in Arrested Development. He plays Buster.
Tony Hale.
Tony Hale.
Steve Urkel.
Yeah, he's also there. Urkel plays one of the teachers. It's almost like
Jaleel White.
Clint Eastwood made a decision where he went like, I want comedians, and they're not comedic roles, because in that movie the real people who like did it are there. So like Steven Soderbergh did this in The Informant, which is that the movie is serious, but every actor is played by like a big comedian. So it's like Patton Oswalt and like Biff from Back to the Future.
I never saw The Informant.
It's very good. You should check it out.
Sorry to detract, but
sorry to derail.
Did you know that Clint Eastwood tried to get The Terrorist from 1510 to Paris, 1517?
Don't look at me. April knows this because she heard it on the Important Cinema Club.
What? Because he's like, I want all the real people.
Yeah, so basically like the big scene 1517 to Paris is about, which is a terrorist took over a train and then got taken down by Americans. Everyone in that scene is the actual person that was on the train. Not just the stars. There's a guy that gets like shot in the arm and it's that guy. Yeah, the extras and everything. Yeah.
Oh my God. And he wanted to get the terrorist?
He asked the French authorities and they're like, no.
What the fuck is he thinking?
He's
Clint
senile.
Eastwood is like 87. So the fact that he's like making decisions like this is insane.
Wow.
Is it laziness? He's like, I just don't want to cast anybody. And then he's just watching sitcoms and he's like, that person's good. Judy Greer.
He's good.
Yeah. Was Thomas Lennon on Arrested Development? Maybe he was just watching Arrested Development.
I can't remember.
Carl Weathers. No, I wish he was in.
Anyway,
Mendo.
Wait, is world famous comedian Michael Shannon in the 1510 to Paris?
No, sadly he is not.
No.
So back to Pottersville. I mean, there's not much plot to this. So Thomas Lennon shows up. We didn't even say who he is. He plays like a reality TV show.
He's like
big game hunter,
kind of crocodile hunter type.
Yeah, doing an Australian accent, which is not very good, but is later revealed to be a fake Australian accent.
Yeah, so it's supposed to be bad. It's like a Finding Bigfoot show, or
this is like this feels like an element that is like 10 years out of date. Like,
this whole movie has a lot of comedic setups and concepts that are very dated and not funny.
So what's amazing about Thomas Lennon is he suddenly becomes the main character of the movie, and like I guess Michael Shannon had something else he had to do because he just disappears from the film for an hour.
It's also like the Ron Perlman show in the second half.
Yeah. So it's like Thomas Lennon and Ron Perlman
and
Ian
McShane.
Of, like, found footage stuff as they try to hunt Bigfoot.
Yeah, that's right. But it's like, oh God, it's so nothing is funny. Everybody's trying, but it's just
and the way it's shot is like so weird and off-putting.
It's very like kind of pedestrian and TV quality, TV level.
Yeah, and one thing I mentioned about Michael Shannon is that he has a way of smiling that's not really smiling.
It's unsettling.
Like, just like the corners of his lips are going up, but the rest of the face is like intense and scary. Yeah, and so even when he's smiling, he looks scary.
It's like the kind of like a fake smile that you do when someone's like talking to you.
You know, maybe Michael Shannon is in this. Like, did you read that article that Al Pacino, he talked about being in a lot of shitty movies, and he says it's because he reads really bad scripts, and he's like, I just want to make it just okay. Yeah, that's my goal. From something bad,
wants
just
to elevate the movie through his talents.
Good for him, but I mean, come on.
Michael Shannon looks like he's like sleepwalking in this one.
Yeah, but it's like seeing a comedian in a dramatic role. Mm-hmm. You're always waiting. And it's like John Candy in JFK or something. And
was he in JFK?
He was. Yeah, with the big Southern accent. He's like,
you hear me, Daddy-O? And it's so weird because you're just waiting for them to turn the switch and joke and make you laugh or something like that.
Or make you cry like in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Exactly.
I like me. My wife likes me.
But is the opposite.
This is the opposite. It's like supposed to be this warm-hearted, sweet, kind of innocent comedy, and you're just staring at Michael Shannon's face that, in other movies, like you're terrified of, and you're just waiting for him to flip.
After all that, what is your favorite part of this movie, Colin?
The redeeming quality is Ian McShane.
Oh, good.
I will watch him in anything. He's just so awesome, and I think he knows what kind of movie he's in and like just how to play it. He's never phoning it in.
Yeah, he plays like Quint of the movie.
Yeah, so
quite
he plays
literally in one scene.
Yeah, he does like the Jaws reference.
I mean, there's a really funny scene with Thomas Lennon where he's like, I wrote this song for Gandhi or something like that.
Yeah, I gotta say, that was the one scene that I laughed. Yeah. And that might be my favorite thing because it's a movie that's not very good. Which was, he takes out a guitar and then he's playing It's a Bigfoot song, is it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
And it's
almost like
funny.
this improv.
Oh no,
song.
it's for Nelson Mandela. He says,
How much do you want to bet Tom Lennon actually improv that?
Oh, I'm sure.
guaranteed.
Yeah. Or like wrote it right before they filmed or something like that.
he's like, that'll be $1 million.
But like, you're right. Ian McShane is the only one who's like, okay, this is like a character. Like, he's really like acting and trying.
He's
and,
very
like,
good. He's so charismatic.
Yeah, I didn't like how like he's like always calling like Tom Lennon like a Nancy boy, and he's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
you're singing and dancing, it's very I'm masculine, I kill things."
That is a really
Yeah.
the script was written in 2002.
Exactly.
kind of
Yeah.
feeling.
Hey, maybe
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah.
And then they have like the Latina news reporter.
Yes.
Oh,
And
God.
Every time she says her name, it's like Gutierrez or something like
Yeah,
that.
that's
She
a
says
big
it
joke.
like
It's
that.
like I'm
think the
Nina Juarez.
I think
at
the
10
filmmakers
times.
think it's much funnier than it actually is.
Yeah, because they do it like 4 times.
It's like the rake. It only gets funnier.
There's tons of jokes like that in this movie that are just like, it's like I'm feeling embarrassment for this movie.
Yeah, you just
You
sort of
know?
see them like really trying, and it just the jokes are just
Do you think
thudding.
Thomas Lennon cares? Or does he just collect that paycheck and he has himself a fun time?
He's definitely not phoning it in, but
No,
I
he's
just
not.
don't, I
No.
just don't think
It's like
it's like whatever.
he has like a first come first serve policy, which is like.
But again, he like every other actor in this movie, they may just be all buddies, like
Yeah,
they know
maybe.
each other
We're
for
having
something.
fun.
It seems like
Not Thomas Lennon.
No, it's like Ron Perlman is like he's producing this movie, he's calling in favors from all of his friends.
That's what I'm guessing. But like this movie has like Academy Award nominated actors in it. Ian McShane's probably won like 10 BAFTAs by now.
Probably.
And
yeah,
it's
for
like
his sweet album of songs.
oh yeah.
Yeah,
he's a-
sexy
he's a-
Ian McShane when he was younger.
What was
Oh,
that
I didn't
show he
know
was
that.
in England that he was like?
I don't remember. It was like Father. It was like he's a priest or something like that, wasn't he?
I don't think so.
Father Ted?
No, it's not Father
no.
Ted.
Fuck.
We won't remember on this episode.
It'll come to me. I'll find it on IMDb.
Yeah. No. Don't say that. You're like, let me just think about it. Let me meditate on it
Well, just-
as we
and then
talk.
it'll just
Edit
come
that
to
bit
you.
And so this movie, essentially, like, I guess Michael Shannon gets like Bigfoot fever, and he just keeps dressing up as Bigfoot and running around, looking in people's windows, and they like wave at him.
Yeah,
he kind
they're
of
into
Bigfoot
it.
becomes a celebrity, and then he knows that he can't admit it to the cops because then all the goodwill in the town will evaporate. Everybody will leave in the town. We have to say, like, it opens up. The town is like shows like for sale signs
Yeah,
outside.
derelict.
Of everybody's. It's derelict town, pretty much.
So I think what happens is
Lovejoy, that was the show. He was.
Lovejoy. Okay.
what happens is Ian McShane and Ron Perlman and the Bigfoot guy Tom Lennon are like, we're gonna go find Bigfoot, and they don't. And Michael Shannon is like, they're gonna realize that there's no Bigfoot, and the whole town is gonna go under. So he decides to do dressing up like Bigfoot and do suicide. He knows that they're gonna shoot him.
Oh yeah,
And so he makes a decision, much like It's a Wonderful Life. He gets dressed up and he goes out and he's like, I'll do it one last time to save the town. Although if they shot him,
they will instantly discover that the Bigfoot is just a
Yeah,
man in a
the-
costume.
The town will be notorious for another reason.
Yeah,
The murder town.
Judy Greer realizes the
town.
plan too late,
Yeah.
and then she's like, "Guys, this is obviously Maynard.
But she's
Don't
crying.
shoot him."
Yeah, he writes this big suicide letter on the typewriter, and then I think she says it's a suicide note, and then she's
Yeah.
crying. I thought you were going to go somewhere else with that sentence when you were saying this is just like It's a Wonderful Life when Jimmy Stewart puts on the gorilla outfit and goes running around the town.
It's like,
goes
it's
to kill
the
himself.
alternate ending to It's a Wonderful Life, killing spree ending.
Yeah.
What's great
yeah.
about it too is that Thomas Lennon makes the classic mistake of capturing Bigfoot and not investigating him and just bringing him to the town square and being like, "We captured Bigfoot."
He was
If
drunk
you-
on moonshine.
If you look at this Bigfoot
for half a
from
second.
20 feet away, you could tell that it's
It's a guy in a gorilla mask.
It's a guy in a gorilla
I
mask.
love that Thomas Lennon's plan is we reveal that he's an actor.
Yeah.
Is that he will catch Bigfoot and then he'll suddenly be able to be in movies again.
yeah, and he's
That's
gonna not be Australian
Yeah, that's
anymore.
not how showbiz works.
Yeah, he's constantly on the phone, or it's like his agent is with him or something like that.
Yeah.
Someone from the network. So yeah.
And she knows his secret. But so he reveals Bigfoot, and he's like, this town ruined me. He gets angry at the townspeople, especially the furries, and he calls them all freaks, and he's like, I'm gonna sue you. And then everyone's like, thanks a lot, Maynard. Now this guy's gonna sue us.
I don't think that Thomas Lennon lawsuit's gonna hold up in court.
That was another kind of funny line where they're interviewing him later, and they're like, so you're suing the town of Pottersville? And he's like, yes, it's like a class action lawsuit, except it's the reverse. I'm suing the whole town. I kind of chuckled at that. Like, see, he is funny, but he's given so little to work with in this movie.
And like the town wants Maynard's like head on a stick,
which
is very funny, and it's very like Simpson-esque because it's like
you picture them with like
mob.
Torches and pitchforks or something. But then so they all go to Maynard's shop, and then Judy Greer brings out every time in the movie that somebody comes into the store. It's established at the beginning that he writes their name down in this book
when they don't pay for what they're
buying. He says you can put it on credit and pay me back later. And then Judy Greer finally shows them all the book, and it's empty.
Yeah, he didn't care.
He didn't care.
Maybe she just picked up a book that like he hadn't written in. He's like, oh no, I write the names in that book.
That's my new ledger.
No, you're holding it upside down. Go to the first page. It's got everybody's names.
So April, what is your favorite part of this movie?
I think I said Tom Lennon's song.
Yeah, Tom Lennon's song is very funny.
This is my favorite thing, and
of all time.
And this kind of goes with my conclusion of this movie. It's the fact that it exists.
Yeah, definitely.
This is a see it to believe it type movie because it's not an enjoyable experience.
I tweeted like the cover. And nobody believed it was real.
It looks like a fake movie. It looks like something that would appear like in a Lonely Island video or something like that. You've seen Pottersville?
Yeah, it would be like an SNL
It's a Photoshop.
sketch.
I mean, it is a Photoshop, but it looks, it's a bad one.
It's a real bad Photoshop.
Yeah, it's like, what would It's a Wonderful Life be like with Michael Shannon as the Jimmy Stewart?
Also, Bigfoot and we make fun of furries. Aren't they weird?
Yeah.
That's the joke.
Yeah. So it's pretty much offensive for many, many reasons. And then at the end...
also, they're all white people, aren't they, in this movie?
But there's a
Pretty
couple...
much.
Asian people?
I think so. But
the assistant
Carl
is Asian.
White.
No, we've got the Latina news
The
person.
Latina news person that they
that's
make fun
right.
of.
But doesn't everybody pay? So then they all line up at the store and pay him back, like one by one. It's like,
wait, where'd they get the money?
why didn't you pay him back when you bought the food?
Because we could take advantage of them.
Now they're all
exactly.
rich on the Bigfoot money, I guess.
Oh, yeah, probably. Yeah.
The end again? Like
They open a Bigfoot museum.
Yeah, he falls
so
in
they
love.
don't reveal anything?
He realizes that, Judy Greer is like crushing on him, and then he kicks out.
He kills her. Finally, the kettle comes to a boil.
You're gonna find your body in my basement.
Killed by Bigfoot.
And then he dumps Christina Hendrick, who's like really upset at
In front of the whole town.
Yeah,
It's true.
So this is funny, and the movie kind of ends with him and Judy Greer standing outside the museum, and then they kind of kiss. And then you hear this noise from off screen.
And you're like, is there a real
It
Bigfoot?
sounds like Bigfoot. It's
Well,
like a...
No, we thought it was.
Yeah,
and then
everybody rewinds
I'm like,
that
wait
part.
a minute. And I rewound it. And then we turned
turned
on
the subtitles
subtitles.
on.
Yeah.
And it just said in brackets, cheering.
Wait, what?
So it's supposed to be the townspeople,
No,
I
okay. So
guess.
those subtitles were probably written by someone who wasn't watching the movie at the same time. Because you just send an audio file when you want something subtitled. So they probably had no idea what it was.
Yeah, probably not. Well, that used to happen all the time when I had to close caption stuff. You just like make stuff up.
Yeah, you don't know. Because like they wouldn't write like Bigfoot growl because they don't know what. Which is weird. Are they about to be killed by Bigfoot?
Didn't sound like a growl. They kind of do this concerned glance off screen. I'm like, who's cheering for them? Like, is it people outside of the museum?
Yeah, finally,
Yeah,
those two
Maynard.
lovebirds are getting together.
So this is really funny. I guess like when the movie was released, it was getting all these bad reviews. And there was one review in particular that was really like scathing. I think it was on, I don't know, not Collider.
Ain't it cool news?
And so Ron Perlman, I guess, read the review and tweeted out, and it's still there. He still got the tweet up. He was really pissed. And he says, my company made a little movie out on Netflix now called Pottersville. One critic called it the worst movie ever made. It's him and irresponsible like him that turned great art into a cavalcade of men in spandex. Pottersville, made with love.
Wait, but he starred in Hellboy 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Technically, he had leather pants. He wasn't wearing any spandex.
His spandex jacket that he wore the entire time.
We made this family-friendly Christmas movie, and this called it terrible.
Oh, God.
You gotta bleep that out. I don't want to have the C word on this podcast.
I gotta load up bars and tone now.
No, you can just go, here, I'll give you a beep. Hold on. Beep. That was Justin.
Oh, no. You know what you should do? You should use the word like candy ass. Just dub what I just said there. Let's get
dub it with me.
Candy ass. Just take it from there and then put it earlier. You know, that pays off. People are like, ooh, I get the context of it now.
Or the movie Cats.
Yeah, there were a bunch of cats.
Anyway,
what
I guess
was the other movie we watched?
We watched a movie about the most lovable Christmas creature.
Dan Haggerty.
Elf.
Oh, I thought you were going somewhere else.
Nazis.
Yeah.
Nazi elves on Christmas.
Okay, there's some mistakes in that sentence you just said.
Right off the bat.
Elf.
Right off the bat.
Nazi
the movie
elf.
is called Elves. There is one elf.
And it does take place over Christmas.
It does.
It does.
It stars everyone's favorite, Grizzly Adams, Dan Haggerty.
Okay, Dan Haggerty. How is this guy a star? I don't understand.
Well,
He's
Grizzly
lovable.
Adams. He's lovable, yeah. Who doesn't love a lovable chimney?
I was
Yeah.
I was telling April, his co-star in Grizzly Adams was a bear, so
Yeah.
I guess there's no chance of him being outacted like on screen.
Oh no, people thought that like they hired Dan Haggerty to play the bear, and then like a bear showed up, and they're like, I guess we're gonna have to find another role for
He kind
him.
of does look like a bear.
Yeah, he does.
He's gigantic.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's got this big, like, warm and fuzzy thing going on.
Yeah, maybe,
warm and fuzzy, more like kind of moldy and like sour smelling. I bet
he looks like a homeless person in this movie, and I think he is a homeless person in this movie. 'Cause
He's evicted from his trailer.
So
early
what's the
in
plot of this movie, April?
Well, it's really complicated, actually. But basically, there's this girl who has a bunch of friends, and at the beginning of the movie, they accidentally summon some creature. And then later at the mall, a Santa...
You say creature,
God.
you mean elf.
It's an elf, yeah.
Yeah,
So she works in the mall, and she hates Christmas, and then she gets molested by the current Santa who works there. And then 5 seconds later, he's killed. And then later you find out it was the elf.
You're skipping some very important information.
And then, like,
the
her
Santa gets killed by being stabbed in the dick by an elf.
Well, first of all, the brief summary of the plot is not her grandfather is a Nazi and want to have her mate with an elf in order to create a race of Nazi super beings.
Yeah.
Nazi super elves.
Super elves.
All right, so I'm gonna steal. You know what, Colin? You can go first. What was your favorite thing?
My favorite thing?
Yeah.
Santa getting stabbed in the dick.
So good.
It's a pretty great scene.
I have a memory of like re-editing it. Yes, for like a holiday reel where it looks like he's stabbing him multiple times in the dick.
Oh, he keeps going.
He is.
And I just like looped it like so it's like 30 times. Like,
Yeah, he's just like this really despicable character. Like, they go, they said they're gonna goof on Santa. They want to make fun of him. And
Did
so
you used to say that back in the 60s?
let's go,
Colin?
let's
We're
go.
gonna go goof
Let's
on
go
Santa.
goof on
let's go to the mall and goof on Santa.
Because she hates Christmas.
And so he immediately, this is in front of a line of children, by the way. He immediately like starts putting his hand up her like dress and stroking her thigh, and then he says, "Oral." Santa said oral.
And so she slaps him.
Yeah, so she slaps him and gets him fired, and then he immediately goes back to his dressing room and just starts like doing lines of cocaine.
And then his beard gets in the cocaine, and he's like, fuck. And then he looks down, and there's an elf in his crotch stabbing him.
Yeah, so this elf is kind of like her protector. I guess she cuts her hand, and the blood gets in the ground, and then it's sort of like it's always looking through her window.
Well, okay. Well, I'll steal my favorite thing, the elf. When you say looking, because it's frozen in a rictus screen.
This is a very poor-looking puppet.
It's not even a puppet. So supposedly the story goes is they built like a maquette for the elf.
Right.
For like, I think it wasn't supposed to be used in the movie. It was very heavy. But the production company went, it's fine. Let's just use this.
Was that supposed to be just like the reference to make
the
more
reference for the
puppets?
elf.
Right.
And so like the elf is like, its face is like, it's just open, mouth wide, and that's all it can do. So it can just kind of like, it's like R2-D2, you can just like go from side to side pretty much.
Yeah, not really. Yeah, and then you'll just.
And like they don't treat it in shadows either. It's
No.
like just right on screen.
Yeah,
it's
it's
like,
full on.
what's up?
Yeah, it always looks like it's just screaming, and its eyes are open, like
I have a
terrifying.
mouse, but I cannot scream. That's my sequel to Elves. Elves 2. Now there's more than one.
Dan Haggerty.
They should have made 2.
So, we basically went through the plot. So Dane Haggerty's trying to figure out what's going on. He goes to a bunch of, I guess, professors and people.
Goes to the library.
Yeah.
He seems to know. He gets the job as the Santa after the old one dies. And I guess he kind of knows the mall GM or something like that.
No, well, he asked for a job earlier, and he's like, "Get out of here!" And then he shows up again.
No, but when in their introduction scene, when he first walks in, he knows the guy by name.
Oh,
and they shake hands, and he says, "You're always welcome here."
Well, remember earlier when he said, "I'm not a detective anymore. I'm not even a store detective." Maybe he used to be a store detective.
He was a detective. There we go. We cracked the case of Elf.
That's why. But then he says to the guy, "Do you have any jobs on security?" And then he says, "I'm straight now. I swear." So it's like, did he just get out of jail, or
is it like a common thing that Santas do cocaine all the time?
I don't know.
How else do you deal with all those kids?
So after that, the elf, he starts working in a department store, and he meets Zoe Deschanel, and they don't believe that he's an elf. But then he worked for Santa Claus for real.
Oh, that's when James Caan shows up.
Yeah, that's right. And he's like, "You're my father."
I wouldn't know. I've never seen it.
You've never seen Elf?
She does not like
I don't
Elf.
like it.
Boy, why not?
I just find it annoying. I don't know. I'm not.
Wait, you've never seen it though. How can you find it annoying?
Every time I have seen any of it, I find it annoying.
You're like, turn it off. You're like George C. Scott in Hardcore.
I don't
turn it off.
I don't like Step Brothers either.
Wait, okay. So I think what you're getting at is you have an anti-Will Ferrell basis.
I've liked some.
Like what? Please say like Stranger Than Fiction.
I hated that movie. I'm sure there's something out there that he did that I liked him on SNL. I don't know.
Okay, fine. So wait, that's not the movie that we watched? We didn't watch Elf?
No, we watched
Jon
Elves.
Favreau's Elf?
No, we watched the movie where the girl's stepmom / real mom drowns a cat in the toilet.
Yes.
Which is unforgivable. And I was going to say that the mom is my favorite thing because she's very over the top and scary.
Yeah.
And like when I say over the top, like, I mean,
Yeah,
the line readings.
She's insane.
It's like, yes, what is it? Your stepfather,
no
your
one
grandfather
sees the giant eyes you're giving
is your the man in the study is your grandfather and your father. And it's like da-na-na.
And then they do the thing in movies to show, that someone's actually crazy is when they're putting on lipstick. They push a little too hard and smear it all over their
remember
face.
Wild at Heart?
Yeah. Wow, that's a
Or Night of the Demons, where Linnea quickly puts a lipstick in her breast.
So gross. Any kind of lipstick overuse is.
And then, I mean,
it's a good acting prop. It's like eating. It's like having an apple or something and eating.
Her mom makes the very bad mistake that she takes a bath when the elf's a guest.
And then she just happens to be listening to classical music
on the edge of the bath
with a radio, as everybody does. They put a plug-in radio at the edge of your bathtub.
You're just asking for it at that point.
I'm curious to know, like, I mean, this happens in movies all the time that they throw electronics and like electrocutes people.
Yeah.
Does that actually happen? It would probably have to be something pretty powerful.
No,
right?
you know what? It doesn't.
Wouldn't, because outlets in bathrooms have something called GFCI protection. It's like that little kind of reset switch that you see. So
so it would nuke
it basically
you?
shorts out and it just the electricity goes off to protect
So you
that
would
from
be like,
happening.
No, you wouldn't. That's why anywhere, I think it's like six feet from a water source.
You need to
have a
those
GFCI.
Did they have
outlet.
those in 1989?
Probably.
Yeah, I would think so.
I mean, if movies are any indication, people are getting electrocuted left,
right, and center.
Yeah,
you know what? Yeah,
if it's battery powered.
It's probably why. That's probably why they made that regulation. Is just all these people are like watching these movies, like, oh my god, we didn't know this is so widespread.
Yeah.
Congress needs to vote on it. The anti-electrocution in bath. Yeah, because when they invented electricity, the first thing people started to do is like have lights in baths, or like holding a lamp, and they're like, "Ooh, hot!" And they drop it in the bath. Electrocution's all over. You know, we're making fun of this, and someone's listening. They're like, "My grandfather died being electrocuted,
drying his hair."
We're
sorry.
While showering.
Why do all these things in the bath? I mean, like, okay, a book, fine.
Yeah.
But, you could drop it and your
it's
book's
always
ruined.
like little monsters as well. It's like Chucky's and Elves.
Yeah, something will just
Any
sort
of
of
these
tip it over.
movies, there's always some kind of monster getting in there.
I mean, I would say, looking at the elf in this movie, that he has difficulty holding objects, but that is not true near the end of the film. So.
Yeah, he shoots a gun at the end of the film. So we didn't mention that there are actually evil Nazis after our heroes.
Dan Haggerty.
There's like a gunfight in a mall. The girl and her friends sneak into the mall at night to bone their boyfriend. So they had
shopping mall style.
And then it was exactly, I said that. And so like Nazis show up and they start shooting. Dan Haggerty's shooting back at them. I don't think there's any repercussions the next day.
No, the next day he talks to the cops and they were like letting him investigate this. And he's like, I just need 24 hours.
I trust you, Dan Haggerty.
But yes,
Plays himself.
They place a bomb.
Rough.
They place a bomb in his car.
He gets chased. He like jumps out of his car.
Yeah, like there's a lot of
he's winded going upstairs.
A lot of stuff happens in this movie.
Now, I have to say, I don't know. I've never seen someone smoke as much as I've seen Dan Haggerty smoke. I don't know if he's a smoker in real life. He is chain smoking in this movie to the point where there's a scene he is brushing his teeth and smoking at the same time. He's got a cigarette in his hand.
It's the fuel that keeps him going.
It's almost like, is that a joke? Is that supposed to be a joke?
He's always got a cigarette in his hand. He goes to visit the
Dan Haggerty's like, I'm not doing it unless I'm smoking.
He goes to visit that weirdo with all the old books around him, and it's like everything is wood. And he's holding a cigarette.
That weirdo with all the books.
And then he goes. Then he goes to
or something.
Then he goes to that other guy's house, and he's carving a Christmas turkey for his young children. And Dan Haggerty's holding his cigarette right by the kid's head.
Yeah, I think that it would have to be like the actor at that point, because it's like it can't not at that point.
Yeah,
I can't be in a scene and
There's
not
like
smoke.
interviews with Dan Haggerty. He's like, I hate smoking. The director forced me to do it.
That would be surprising.
They were those herbal cigarettes.
Oh my God.
It's the worst.
The clove cigarettes.
So the movie ends with Dan Haggerty goes to the Nazi in a wheelchair, and he
goes off the rails.
That's the grandpa.
Yeah, he gets knocked over, and then Dan Haggerty disappears from the movie.
There's like a scuffle, and it's implied that he gets
shot, maybe
shot or something.
He just gets tired.
You don't really
all
know.
those cigarettes.
It's like,
smoking.
I'm out of breath. No, they ran out of smokes, and then contractually, it's in his contract.
He's out of the movie.
Yeah.
But the daughter gets chased into the woods with her son,
with her brother, younger brother.
Okay,
her pervert brother, by the way, he like spied on her showering
the pit
earlier.
Style.
Yeah, he's gross. But then I guess she sprains her ankle because the elf is coming, and she's like, "Go! He wants me," or something.
Oh no! Wait, it's her. The Nazi chases after her, and then she's saved by the elf with a Luger.
Yeah. Somebody shoots the Nazi, and then it
turns out it's the elf.
The elf puppet with like a gun taped to its hand.
Yeah, it's like nailed.
Pretty much, yeah. It's pretty cute, though. And then the elf rapes her, unfortunately.
Not cute.
It's kind of shown.
I missed this.
They've shown what they can, which is just like her kind of, making faces, and this top half of it like kind of moving like around her. They can't do much because, as we mentioned, this elf doesn't have a body. It has a top half and some legs and feet.
Yeah, for close-ups.
Never see them in the same shot.
Exactly. So it's kind of hard to tell what happens, right?
I think you do when it explodes in the movie.
Yeah. And then the very last scene is her and the younger brother. They escape, and it looks like everything is okay. But over the end credits, you see elf fetus.
Oh no! Well, I mean, you skip the elf exploding where she puts a diamond in its mouth.
Yeah,
it's
she
like
was
an elf crystal.
She has like Nazi powers.
Yeah,
like she said, the grandpa tells her because she's the master race, conceived with the perfect genetic whatever. Mm-hmm. Take this crystal, you'll know what to do. And she
and it's stuffing it in the elf's mouth
before
it explodes.
As you do.
And it's like the classic explosion. It's like a stiff like dummy of the elf just so it can blow up.
It's for like a few too many frames before it blows up.
It was like slow motion, but not quite. Yeah.
We got to talk about Dan Haggerty. Like, other than the smoking, when we were talking earlier, but lack of charisma this guy has.
He's a pretty chill man.
His line delivery is
he's a little bit like Jeff Bridges as the dude from The Big Lebowski.
Yep.
No, but like you like watching Jeff Bridges, and he's got character. His line readings are so bland and monotone.
I don't mind him. I'm telling you, he's the best.
I stand Dan Haggerty forever.
He's the best actor in this movie, and that's because everyone else is so bad.
I don't know.
And I'm not saying he's bad. No, good. He's bad.
That Santa was
Dan
amazing.
Haggerty forever.
Oh God.
Well, I like how he just narrates everything as it's happening. He just talks to nobody.
Yeah, that's because we watched the theatrical cut of Elves with the narration that was enforced by the studio. We see the director's cut, no narration. I'm being sarcastic. I'm making a reference to Blade Runner.
My wife called me sushi. Goldfish.
Dan Haggerty, a little known fact, he actually recorded that Harrison Ford narration. That's why it's so deadpan.
Dan, we gotta make this sound like crap. Read these lines.
Get Dan Haggerty.
Okay, Harrison, no problem.
Yeah, it's me, Dan Haggerty.
Yeah,
How's it going?
So we got these Nazis at the mall.
Well, Justin, if you grow your hair out a little more, it might look a little like Dan Haggerty's hair.
Oh, okay.
Like it's got this like curly thing going on.
Yeah, and if you get like a bear sidekick,
yeah, and I grew a giant beard.
Well, you gotta get the
then we
beard.
can't.
Yeah.
We'll start calling you Grizzly Adams.
Yep, that's me.
All right.
Grizzly Adams
Justin
did have a
McClue,
beard.
known for his deadpan delivery to everything.
And chain smoking.
And chain smoking.
And
that's me.
living with a bear.
And fighting elves.
Yeah. Fighting elf.
Fighting elf.
So I don't know if you could tell, but we love this movie. This might be my favorite like Christmas bad movie.
I think we watched it like 3 or 4 times.
Well, I think the first time we watched this was like Christmas Day, like a couple years ago, like late, like after dinner, like we'd had drinks, like everyone was gone, and I was like, "This is awesome!" And then we hosted like a bad movie party a couple years ago, and this movie killed. I gotta say, people liked it. I remember one person said, "Like, are you sure this isn't bad on purpose?" I was like, "No. This is." Supposed to be good.
Dan Haggerty.
What if you learn it was supposed to be bad on purpose?
Well, it does have a bit of a tongue-in-cheekness to it. There's some jokes, right?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
They're
very subtle.
I'm half imagining. They're very subtle.
What if it was like a Matt Farley-ish take? Would it destroy the movie for you?
Well, someone on Twitter said that "Don't let the river beast get you" is bad on purpose. Whoever said that, I'm sorry, you're not right. You're wrong.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah, but it's not like let's make a bad movie.
It's not like
they're
that at
trying
all.
to make a good movie.
Yeah.
Same with Elves, you know? They're clearly trying to make a good movie. Yes, it's a campy horror Christmas, Nazi movie, but it's not like a comedy, you know what I mean?
No. I think it's trying to be funny in certain parts.
But
and
it's not, which makes it more
at all.
funny.
I don't think I would compare that to "Don't Let the River Beast Get You."
No.
Well,
but
no.
when you have like Dan Haggerty delivering your jokes,
Yes.
they
In
don't
like a sad deadpan.
The
charisma,
the joy
black
of River
hole.
Beast is this is the best that these people could do, and God love them, you know?
I don't know if I agree with that, but
Well, both are great movies,
Yeah.
so check them out. Pottersville, don't watch unless you are unless you're just curious.
I disagree. It's an oddity, like I said. It's not. I don't know if you're going to have
kinda boring,
I
though.
don't know if you're going to have a good time watching it, but
Yeah.
you just have to see it to believe that it's real.
like cats.
Yeah, well,
What,
I mean,
like the animal
Yeah,
cats?
like cats. You look at them and you're like, "Who made those?"
Those aren't real.
No, yeah, I don't believe in them.
God made them.
I'm a cat's truther.
Well, then what did we lock in the bedroom while we were recording the podcast?
I don't know, but
Sorry.
he's
Open
been
the
crying
door and it's
the whole
like
time.
Full man. It's Dan Haggerty. Dan Haggerty went on to live for 30 years after the making of Elves.
This is crazy.
Yes.
Like he died in 2016. 2016. He looks like we did the math on it, and he was what, like just 40 when he did this movie
maybe,
or something.
but we made a joke that he's 25.
He looks like he's 60.
Yeah,
in
he
this
does
movie.
look like he's 60 years old.
In 1989.
In 1989, I'm like, if this guy chain smoked like he does in this movie, how did he live so long?
Living his best life.
Good
That's
lord,
how.
he probably had like robotic lungs or something like that.
He's the Dan Haggerty of the future.
They were gonna put down the bear from Grizzly Adams, and
He's
he's
like,
like,
"Give me his lungs."
Give me his lungs.
He had bear lungs.
He's like, I'm
He
rich.
just ate them.
No, he just have them transplanted into my body.
So as we mentioned earlier, Pottersville is on Netflix. I'm pretty sure everyone's Netflix, probably just not just Canada.
Well, it's definitely on Ron Perlman's.
Yeah, exactly. And Elves is on YouTube. I think.
What, you don't want to pay $90 for a
Yeah.
VHS tape?
I'm sorry that I can't give you a legal way of watching this movie. I feel like this is a movie that's so old and obscure, like no one knows who owns it anymore.
I feel like someone would have put it out if they could have.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
because I
so-
think this is fairly well known and beloved. But yeah, it's on YouTube right now, or you can probably find
Justin,
it
you're
streaming.
laughing at that.
What?
That it's
Fair
well known and
beloved.
beloved. Like
No, people love Elves.
Like Dan Haggerty himself.
Yeah, fairly well known and beloved. Rest in peace, Dan.
Yeah.
Wherever you are with your pack of smokes. He's
He's up in heaven right now.
chain smoking with Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah, dude.
Dan Haggerty, he taught me that it was okay to be weird. Okay. Let's get the photo. Do you think that there's a photo of Jay and Silent Bob by Dan Haggerty's grave? Like a cartoon picture.
And they're crying.
Yeah. And they have bear claws.
Oh god.
These are very specific references. All right. So
okay, so let's wrap this up.
Yep.
Like a Christmas present. So if you want to email the podcast, we're at nosuchthingasabadmovie@gmail.com, or you can tweet at us at nosuchthingpod. And if you feel like supporting us on Patreon, we're at patreon.com/nosuchthingasabadmovie. $5, you get a little mini episode every 2 weeks. And next week, we're doing 8 Crazy Nights.
You said it like that because we haven't recorded it yet.
So get ready. Watched it today.
Yep. All right. So you can follow me on Twitter at DeCloux, DECLOUX, letter J. You can listen to me on the Important Cinema Club podcast, or you can follow me on Letterboxd, Justin DeCloux.
You can follow me on Twitter, SGTZIMA, Sergeant Zima. Same on Instagram.
Adults only.
What?
And I never said my Twitter, which is at April Atmansky. And don't follow that fake April Atmansky.
Yeah, April got
there.
a bot. What was it?
Yeah, it's April Atmansky with 2 I's in the name.
Yeah.
APRIIL.
We had to report it to Twitter, and they took it off.
Did they take it off?
I'm pretty sure it's down.
Sent me a notification saying that it had violated.
I was hoping that
rules.
it would be like a Russian bot and start tweeting conservative stuff.
Well, it never tweeted anything, but the weird thing is the same. My cover photo and my profile photo were there, but not my bio.
Yeah, and they followed everybody.
Yeah, and then Will Sloan was following it.
Yes.
Damn you, Will! Don't follow the clone, April.
That's not. No.
What do you mean? It is me, April.
I'm the real April. Shoot her.
Yeah. I don't know. I also love Avatar, the Last Airbender.
You say the Last Airbender or the James Cameron movie? James
Does
Cameron
not compute. Does not compute.
But I hope everyone has a very lovely and safe holiday. And a happy new year. I'm April Atmansky.
I'm Justin DeCloux.
I'm Colin Cunningham. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Yep, Merry Christmas. And remember, there's no such thing as a bad movie.